There we go. Hello, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Greetings, or wherever in the world you're at. Welcome to this Learn Pieces for Developers live stream, third one in the series. And one day I will work out how to get that little pieces video to appear as soon as I click go live. So you don't end up with my face, then the video, back to my face. One day I'll work that out. But welcome everyone. Super excited for today's stream. I am joined by Rishab, a developer advocate at Twilio. So do you want to introduce yourself? Tell the world about you.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, for sure. Hi, I'm Rishab. I work as a developer evangelist for Twilio, as Jim mentioned, and I'm really excited to learn more about pieces for developers. For the last few weeks, my Twitter feed is just like, video snippets of pieces for developers, people starting to use it and like how they like it. I have it installed just so that it works with my VS Code as an extension with the pieces OS, but I know there are a lot of configurations you can make to streamline it to whatever your role is. And yeah, a bit about me. I have worked in the tech industry for almost 7 years now. I started in tech support, had some infrastructure engineering experience with cloud and DevOps, and then started doing DevRel for Twilio, and excited to be here, Jim.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here as well. And I used to work with someone that you were connected with, Gwyn, GPS. I believe
Yes.
you do the Learn to Cloud with Gwyn.
That is correct.
Do you want to? I'm just trying to bring it up actually, just make sure I got the right one. Is this your thing, the Learn to Cloud?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to plug it? Go on. Both about it. Both amazing work you're doing.
Yeah. So my friend Gwen, she works at Microsoft, and I had a very similar journey when trying to go from help desk to she went from help desk to sysadmin to cloud. I went from help desk to cloud engineering as a role. So very self-taught, path that we took. I don't have a computer science degree, and she doesn't have one too. So a lot of the times we were asked these questions about, oh, how do I enter cloud, which is very ambiguous and like a long answered question. And that's when she had this great idea to create an open source guide. And she came up with this idea, and we just over a weekend we made it into a GitHub repo, and it got like people's attention and got some really good traction. And then we decided to make it a web app. So what you're seeing right now on the screen is like it took a few years to get here. But yeah, it's an open source guide that helps you get started with cloud computing if you're trying to transition into it.
Awesome. Yeah, I just dropped a link to that in the chat. It's really cool. Yeah, Gwyn is awesome. So I used to work with her on the cloud advocacy teams at Microsoft. So it's awesome what you've created. And there seems to be a lot of success stories coming out of this. So I know how you've got here, for example.
Yeah.
Video here. Oh, I won't play that. But yeah, how Skylar succeeded with Learn to Code. So I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop a link to this in the chat as well. So yeah, check out the success stories. And if you are new to the cloud, it's called Learn to Cloud.
Yes.
So it focuses a lot on cloud things. You've got everything from starting from zero, Linux, Bash, and networking, some basics, programming, cloud fundamentals, DevOps, security. A lot of good resources there. So yeah, anyone who's interested in getting into cloud computing, highly recommend this. Definitely check this out. Cool. So we're here today to talk about Twilio. And the inspiration for this is I was nosing on Dev2 the other day, and I saw this Twilio challenge, which did actually end yesterday. So we're a day late. I saw this Twilio challenge, and I thought it'd be really fun to have a bash at this with someone from Twilio who can kind of actually teach me about Twilio. We can learn about it and try and build something together. Before we dive into that, though, I'm just going to shout out to all the folks in the chat. Ellie is saying Rishab is awesome. He's one of the few people I've actually met in real life. So Ellie's just joined us at Pieces as a developer advocate. So obviously big fan of yours there.
Yeah, thank you, Ellie. It was great meeting you at that conference, and I remember it was my first time meeting Ellie, and what a great conference is It actually called that conference, so don't get confused when I say that conference. But yeah, it was great to talk to you about developer relations, and it's so great to see you joining pieces as a developer evangelist or developer advocate, I believe. And yeah, thank you for the kind message. I have the same feelings.
Yeah, a bit more love pouring your way. Sheree saying Rishab is the best. So, you got
Fun fact,
fans
yeah,
on here.
I just met him 2 or 3 weeks ago in Amsterdam. Yeah. It was awesome. Thank you, Shiva.
Nice. You said about that conference. Looks like I will be at that conference as well. The next one coming up in Wisconsin in a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Ellie's obviously given a shout out to my background. Yes, gotta love the Legos. What you see here is a very small selection of my Lego collection. I've got so much more Lego. I think I'm going to be mixing this up a little bit. I need to do some rearranging. So soon that Razor Crest will be replaced by the big AT-AT. So, love me some Lego. Christine Belzy finally found our YouTube channel. Woohoo! Glad to have you with us. And Gervais saying we need a session with you on LangChain and cloud. So yeah, maybe we could do a LangChain session at some point. That could be fun. I take it you're a LangChain person.
Yeah. I adopted LangChain pretty soon because I was trying to create an MVP for something at work, and the framework was pretty new, and I just dove really deep, and decided to release a free code camp course on it, and that took off. So yeah, I love working with LangChain. I find it very easy, based on the abstractions that they have built to like switch different models, switch different vector solutions that you might be using. So yeah, I'm a LangChain person, specifically in Python. So would love to do a session someday with LangChain, and maybe we can get pieces for developers hooked into it.
Nice. Yeah, let's do that. We will make that happen. So Chevet, we'll make that happen. Code with Jorbis says hello. Great to have you with us. And the impossible taking down Sarko says hello, everyone. So hey, great to have you with us. So awesome. Owen Gervais saying, fun fact, our ML team, so the folks at Pieces, we also love LangChain. So I feel we need to do some kind of LangChain stream. I've never used LangChain. I've used Semantic Kernel. Used to work for Microsoft, and Semantic Kernel is the Microsoft one. So I've used that in C#. So yeah, I'd love to learn LangChain. So that's something we should do. So just quick note to everyone watching, please jump in the chat. We want to hear your questions. Yeah, we've got a rough plan for this stream, but we're happy to kind of take it wherever your questions will guide us. So feel free to jump in, ask questions, engage with us, engage with everyone. And then, yeah, let's have a lot of fun. So back to what we're doing today, this Twilio challenge. So I saw this a few weeks ago. I know we're a bit out late for the challenge, but Twilio are basically challenging you to build something with AI and the magic of Twilio. So now I must confess, I'm terrible at spelling Twilio, because when you see it really small when you're typing it, I can never tell whether it's one L or two L's. It always looks like it's kind of this blur of I's and L's. I keep typing it with two L's. But what is Twilio? So Rishab, what exactly is Twilio?
Yeah, so and this is specifically for developers, we have a lot of communications APIs. So you can think of, SMS to start with, but you can also think of email, WhatsApp, voice, and how you can customize that for your own needs. You can do that with the help of our with the help of our APIs. But it just doesn't end there. So some of you may know that, through our email provider, we acquired SendGrid. So that's how our API, you can communicate with emails with your customers or clients. And we use SendGrid for that. And we also have Segment. So if you have data needs, check out Segment and see how it can help you. Specifically in the e-commerce space, it's pretty popular. But yeah, We are just not a communications company anymore. We do have a lot of different offerings under our belt.
Awesome. And Twilio was kind of famous back in the day because I remember their advertising campaign that was a few years ago. They bought a big billboard saying, "Was it something like ask your developers?"
Yes.
And this was kind of key in the kind of developer advocacy movement. The idea that developers can influence the products that a company buys to use. So, we in developer advocacy, our job is to help developers be successful with their products, because this idea that if a developer is using a tool, they will tell their managers to buy it. And that was kind of the angle that Twilio were taking, weren't they, back in the day?
Definitely, yeah. I think, that was my impression too before I joined Twilio. Is like it's a developer-first company. Their APIs, like they have focused on how to sell it to developers, because as you said, like once you convince the developers, they'll make the business case of saying that, hey, we need to use Twilio. And I love that. I was a huge fan of the docs that the team had, and yeah, it also hits home, being a developer, that there are companies out there that care about us.
Yeah, in fact, I think I believe there was even a book written about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's from our former CEO, Jeff Lawson.
Yeah, ask your developer how to harness the power of software developers and win. So again, this idea of if you get developers involved, they will convince the company to buy the product. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. If anyone's interested in this, I read this a few years ago. Actually, it's quite old. This book, isn't it? 2021. So I say quite old. It's 3 years old. I read this a couple of years ago, so would recommend. But it's what our discipline is. Those of us who are developer advocates, our job is to help developers be successful, and really that's how we sell. We help help developers use a product. Developers then convince their management to buy the product, and then we sell to the top layer. We get kind of this bottom up approach to it. So it's very, very cool. Oh, Björn says good time zone, everyone. Awesome. Hope this is a good time zone for you. Glad to have you with us. Actually, one thing I will say about Twilio is your t-shirts were the best. So soft. I was at a .NET event a number of years ago with some Twilio folks. They've now moved on from Twilio, but they put out a whole of t-shirts, and they were so soft. The red one was like kind of a phone logo on the front. They were great. I loved that t-shirt. So soft. Fell apart after quite a lot of wear.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got that feedback. I was at JS Nation 3 weeks ago, and we received the same feedback. Our swag was late, so we didn't have t-shirts at our booth at the moment. And they're like, "Where are the t-shirts?" So I get it.
They're great. I need to get more. So yeah, next time if we're from the same location, if you're coming to that conference, if you're if I need to get a t-shirt. Chauvet has the coveted Twilio coding gloves. I did not know about these.
Yeah, that is so rare. I even don't have them.
What are Twilio coding gloves?
So, and for anyone who wants to check out the recent uses of it, you can check out the developer keynote for Twilio Signal for last year, where Jeff Lawson is coding an AI solution. And to code that solution, they usually wear Twilio coding gloves, which is like, you could say a ritual or a custom that we have done at Signal.
Here we go. So these are them, are they?
Those are the ones. And I believe this was Signal 2021 when you had a chance to win these coding gloves. Yes, 2021.
2021. Nice. So they're basically fingerless gloves. So you got your fingers ready for coding.
Yeah, I also believe they're padded, so like your palms are well rested.
I see. So you got a palm rest built in, rather. So good for your wrists.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Those are cool. Okay, right. I'm going to make it my quest to get one of these. Yeah, Gervais says softest gloves provide a lot of padding. And yeah, Gervais got them signal 2021.
Nice.
That's awesome. Cool. Right. Anyway, let's do stuff with Twilio. So I guess I need to sign up. So what I was thinking of doing, you mentioned SMS. So my thoughts are to build an SMS based copilot. So Pieces, for those who are new to Pieces, Pieces is an AI tool. It's got a copilot. It can help you manage code snippets, manage all the things. We've had a load of other streams going into it. But one cool thing Pieces has is it has this core thing called Pieces OS that runs. That this is kind of the background power to everything. And then we have a number of applications that talk to that. So when you use a copilot chat, for example, from Pieces desktop, that will, you know what, I wonder if it asks, what are Twilio coding gloves? Oh, what are Twilio coding gloves? Yeah. When I use this LM to ask a question, it's interacting with Pieces OS.
Oh, I see.
Twilio coding gloves are a promotional item offered by Twilio, typical at a Signal conference. Yay! Designed to keep your hands warm by coding. Nice. So Pieces OS is kind of the core engine that runs this, and when I can choose different LLMs that run, and so because these different components, so I've got Pieces Desktop, Pieces for Visual Studio Code, Pieces for JetBrains, all these different components that we have, they all talk to Pieces OS, and Pieces OS has an API. So because the Pieces OS has an API, you can write your own client. So this kind of client here, this desktop app or the Visual Studio Code plugin, they're kind of, I don't want to say dumb clients because they do a lot of things, but essentially all the AI power comes from Pieces OS. And Pieces OS has an API. So my thought was we'd write an SMS copilot. So we send an SMS message to an app running locally. That sends it to Pieces OS to interact with the LLM and then sends a message back. That's my thought. And then, because it's going through Pieces OS, I can actually choose which LLM I'm running on. So rather than kind of hard code it to one particular LLM, this code never changes, but I can configure Pieces OS to have a different LLM if I want to. So we could try the Copilot out with GPT-4o. We could try it out with Gemini. We could try it out with Mistral running on device. We want to have something where it doesn't even leave my machine. I can have Mistral running on device or Phi running on device, and kind of configure which LLM later on it's not connected. That was my thoughts. So
I like I like the idea. Sorry, I just was about to trip my camera off. This explains because I was reading some documentation on this, and I think the fault was my ignorance, but I just went in Visual Studio Code and installed the Pieces for Developers extension. And I was like, okay, let's see if it works. But I didn't have Pieces OS. So I was seeing these error messages. It's like, could not connect. And then I opened the error message. It's like, could not connect to localhost 1000. I'm like, I am missing something. And that's when I opened up the documentation. So thank you. That explains that you need Pieces for OS, which basically is a client that talks to the API that's running on the machine. And we can definitely build something in Python to do that.
Cool. I guess that's feedback for us, really. If it wasn't that obvious to you, you need to install Pieces OS, then that's good feedback for us. We need to make it a lot more obvious that if you just install the VS Code extension.
I don't think so. I think maybe the extension mentioned it. I was just too quick to click install.
I know it's something we are looking to improve anyway, to kind of just have that. I think we're trying to get it to installed automatically, which would be cool. Because that's what you want, really. Install the extension, behind the scenes it installs everything automatically. So cool. Okay. Before we do that, so Chrissy's saying we've got to do another giveaway with the coding gloves. And Bjorn's like, I need to visit more conferences. So Twilio Signal, because Signal is the Twilio's own conference, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. You need to go to Signal to get those gloves. Oh, and Sean's saying, I've been using Pieces for months and I still forget to run the OS client in the background. So no worries. Yeah, I have mine configured, launch on login. So it's always launch on login, so it's always running. Yeah, I don't. My machine's not small, I admit. So I've got, I think, 24 gigs of RAM.
Cool.
But Pieces OS isn't really using that much. Actually, let me just see how much memory it's running. Yeah, Pieces OS is using 2 gigs at the moment, so it's not a huge amount. So in theory, you should be able to have this running most of the time in the background without it impacting your machine. The only time you might want to turn it off is if you're running local models. So if I'm using, say, Mistral, for example, that will eat a lot of memory. So if I'm running this, Pieces OS uses a lot of RAM. So if I need to use something big, then obviously I might want to close it off while I'm doing that thing and then relaunch it. But you know, in general, as long as you've got a reasonable amount of memory, you shouldn't need to keep turning it off.
Yeah.
Gervais showing off. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. Yeah, all right for some. You with your 64 gigs of RAM and me with my mere 24. You know, show off. Though he says, yeah, 40 to 50 gigs
Just
is always just chilling. Yeah. Yeah, Bjorn's saying I've got 30 gigs by default. So 2 gigs are noticeable. Oh, 30 gigs full by default. Okay, someone's running a lot of things. You know, maybe too much Docker containers going on there. And Sean is saying it runs into memory leaks. That's why I stopped keeping it on by default. Okay, sorry about that, Sean. If you haven't raised a ticket about this in our GitHub repo, our support one, please do so. Pieces. I think this is the one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Sean, if you haven't raised an issue, please do. Want to make sure we get that fixed. Yeah. And Chris is like, got to configure the same way. Yes, always. Restart login. Yes, that's what we like. Cool. Okay. So Twilio. Let's try and get back to Twilio. I guess I need to sign up. So tell me all about signing up for Twilio. How much is this going to cost me?
So if this is your first account, you'll get $15 worth of credits as the trial account, and that should be enough for the demo that we're going to do today, or the application, the copilot that we are going to build over SMS. So you should be good.
Okay, so start for free, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
probably a good thing to do. I mean, $15. I remember when you used to have to pay for text messaging. It was like 10 cents a message. So I guess if it's still that kind of thing, $15 is a lot, isn't it?
It is.
Let's go for Jim at pieces.app. Let's just hide this on a different screen. And then let's create a strong password. Where's the button to create a strong password? New password. Create strong password. Twilio.com. Let's copy that. Okay, don't everyone see my password. That would just be wrong. Let's just drop that in. Agree to terms and conditions, which I have read, obviously. Continue. Right. So now I need. Okay. Just get my verification thing from my email. Done.
Awesome.
Oh, now I need to verify my phone number. Sorry.
Yes.
1 second. I'm just going to hide my screen. 8, 6, 2, 7, 8. Lots of security going on here. Okay, and then it's given me a verification code, which I need to save somewhere. Okay, you know what? Let's just grab a screenshot of that for now, and then hide that screenshot somewhere else. Sorry to be all secretive, but this is all the login stuff, and obviously we don't want everyone to be able to hack my account. Being private and all that. So now I need to verify my phone number again. Okay. I've attempted verification too many times.
Wait, what?
Please try again. I know it came up to ask me to verify my phone number again. So sorry, I don't want to share my screen because it's got my personal phone number on there.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So let me just. Okay, now I think it's. I'm just going to close that window, and I think we're good. So let me just reshare it again. There we go. That's what I've got. So sorry, some more questions coming through. Spock Jenkins is asking, for Pieces OS, are there specific services that should be excluded for antivirus products? I have absolutely no idea. That's a great question. I do not know. Best thing you could do is jump on our Discord and ask that question, and then we will be able to answer that. Good place to ask that, because if there is an answer, we can put it publicly. So somewhere here, where's our Discord link? Copy link. So there we go. Just put a Discord link. That's the place you want to go and ask that question, Spock, to get information. Okay. Oh, and Amitesh is saying hello. Great to have you with us. Welcome, Amitesh. Okay, so I've got this, and I've got these two accounts.
Yeah, I think let's open one and see which one got the credits for the trial. Your email
now
has been
let's
verified.
Okay, let's go back and try this other one then. Okay. That one seems to work. What do I plan to build with Twilio? Other. What am I going to use? SMS. What describes my organization?
Okay.
I'm just going to make stuff up. Sorry, I really hate all these kind of questions.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to make stuff up. Whatever. The problem is a lot of people make this kind of stuff up. I ran a Twitter poll about this. If you have to fill in all these details, are you going to just not do it, or are you going to lie? And it was something like 60% of people said, "Yeah, I'll just lie." Pick the first thing to get through as quickly as possible.
Awesome.
So
great.
So I'm there.
We do have a Twilio account set up now. I would say not. I think it should be hidden, but there is a tab called Account Info underneath, where you will have your account SID and API key that we'll be needing later. But the first thing to do would be to get a phone number. So yeah, cool. Awesome.
I hate it, but I checked.
Awesome. So let's get a phone number for you that we'll be using for our SMS bot.
Okay, that's my phone number.
Awesome.
And then I guess I could try it out, it says.
Yep.
So if I send a test SMS, and then there's my virtual phone.
There we go.
There we go.
Great. And also you can, if you want to test it out programmatically, you have all these examples in Curl, Java, Ruby, Python, C#, which you can just copy, run it, and you'll need to just paste the authentication token, which was a secret, as we saw on the last screen, and you'll see the same thing pop up on the right-hand side, which is the dev phone.
Okay, so first of all, let's save this to pieces. So this is one of the cool things to do with pieces. I'm using there's an extension, piece extension in Edge, Chrome, whatever. One button to save, and then if I go here, if I go to my save materials, there we go. That's what I've just saved, and you see what it's done is it's filled in a lot of context as well. So I can go to the site that it came from, other information around it. Link to Python code is recognized as Python. It's tagged as Python. Twilio API, SMS messaging.
That is really cool.
I can then edit, add more context here if I want to. It's really cool, the whole snippet capture, because we all capture snippets everywhere. We save it to a Notes app, save it to Notion, Obsidian, whatever. This does it automatically, and then it will actually augment it, and then I can go through and do stuff with this, and then I can do a copilot chat from this. So
cool.
So what I could do, for example, if I go back to say my copilot, and I could say new chat, and then save snippets. I want SMS message. Done. I can be explain the SMS code. ChatGPT is running a bit slowly by the looks of things, but this is actually breaking all the code base down for me, explaining it, and I can kind of do things to add to it. So, for example, how can I load of token from a secret? And then because it knows the context of that snippet.
Yep.
And then it's got the same code.
Nice.
Show me how to use it, or using a .env file. Again, it's not just use .env. It's here's exactly the code you want using that.
To have it in place,
which is pretty cool. So let's actually do this. Let's do this. Let's go into Visual Studio Code. Let's make. That wasn't what I wanted to do. The wrong one. Go away, go away, go away. I did not want that. I wanted to go CD Twilio code minus R dot. There we go. Let's open the right folder.
Nice.
And then okay. So I'm in VS Code. Again, I've got access to the same snippets. This send them an SMS message. In fact, actually, I can go to my copilot, and I can go to my last chat that I had, and then I want to use .env. So let's just do that. So I'm going to start by creating a virtual environment. Python minus m. Virtual environment is always good. Yes, I want to activate that. Let's just restart my terminals in the environment, and then I can run that in the terminal. That installs .env. I guess I also need to run the Twilio, pip install Twilio, don't I?
Pip install Twilio.
Yeah. That doesn't actually show that in here, how to pip install Twilio. It doesn't mention that one.
That is a good point.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me which I need to install. So is it just Twilio?
Yes. Let me double check. It should be just pip install Twilio. Yes, it is. But I'll take that as feedback to make sure we have that command in there.
Cool. And then what I'm going to do is, this is the code I want. So I just drop that straight into my app.py.
Nice.
And then I need that in my .env file. So let's go here. Let's add .env. And then I needed, where is it from the copilot? I needed that in my .m file. Okay. And then I'm going to hide my screen again while I drop my auth token in. So remove my screen. I copy that. Drop that in my .m file. Close my .m file. And then I've got to make sure I don't accidentally click on that file and show over my token.
Yep.
Just in case. So here we go. So in theory now, if I go python app.py, it sent something. If I go back here, is it? Oh, reactivate session. There we go. Sent from Twilio trial account. Hello from Twilio. If I just change this, hello from Python. That again. Is it going to appear? It did work, didn't it? There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
From Python. Cool.
Awesome.
So that's actually not that much code at all, really, is it? I mean, so what is this code doing? I'm creating a client with my details. This is a REST client, and then I guess this client has a load of different endpoints.
It does.
So conversations, flex API. So I guess everything's wrapped up in this client, messages, numbers.
Yep.
And it's just messages.create.
Yeah. So since this is not like a two-way communication channel, you're just sending one-way message. So we are using the .create from the messages, and you need to provide 3 arguments that are required. So the from number, which is your Twilio number, to number, which will be your personal number or the dev phone number that we are seeing on the browser screen, and the body of the message, which again can be text. You can also send an MMS, so any of the media files. And yeah, we are just doing a print statement that prints the SID, as you can see in the console, once it's a successful send.
Cool. So that's like the ID of the message.
Yes.
So we can, yeah. Okay. Cool. So Shivet is saying that is what is simplicity all about. Great work on the SDK. Yes, a good SDK should be this simple. This is a lovely, lovely SDK. If anyone's wondering, there is a bit of a quirk to this SDK. You'll notice that the from field is from underscore. That's because from is a reserved word in Python.
Yeah.
So if you call it from, you will get errors. But Bjorn is saying, only complaint about is the language used, but the developer experience looks good. Not really a Python fan. Oh, okay. What language are you a fan of? I mean, we're going to finish off this stream in Python, but yeah, what language are you a fan of? We did Dart last week. Week before last was Dart. We've done pieces with Obsidian. So I'm happy to play in whatever language you want. So yeah, Bjorn, what languages do you like? Please say Rust. Please say Rust. Please say Rust. But yes, Shivet's saying definitely have more workshops with additional languages. I'm always happy to learn things from people. So yeah. Sean Tiss said the life of Pi. Don't need a boat with a tiger on it to make that happen. Awesome. Okay, so we've got a message being sent.
Yeah.
How do I receive a message?
Okay, so there are multiple ways to do it, but the quickest one that I really use, specifically when I'm at the hackathon, I want to quickly show, how you can build a communication channel with SMS where you can send and receive messages. I use Fast or Flask. Flask is very easy to set up because we do need, a web server that will need a URL to, which will be listening. So you do need a webhook URL or a web server running, which will post it in the Twilio console. There's a configuration setting under your number where you can post a webhook URL or the web server address. That is how it'll be listening to, the conversations, which is if I send a text message, we need a way for Twilio to find out that there was a message being sent programmatically. And then we can define some actions within our, since we'll be using Flask, we'll call it an API. We can define some actions. We can define some functions within our Flask app. So in our case, since we're building a copilot, it'll be integrated with the get pieces API. So
okay, so the flow is essentially Twilio always does a callback to a URL. So
yes,
that's how it does it. It's not we don't poll for, do I have an SMS message? Do I have an SMS message? Do I have an SMS? It's done via a web. Okay. And then I'm guessing for that, then if we're running Flask, obviously that's going to be on localhost. So we'd use what? Something like ngrok or something to tunnel that through?
Yeah. You had me confused for a minute there because I always pronounce it ngrok.
So I did too, but the folks I work with call it ngrok. So I just assumed I got it wrong.
It makes sense to be ngrok because you have rock at the end, right? Cool. Yeah, we can use ngrok, and that will give us a public URL that we can use instead of the local host. I have also been using Tailscale. So Tailscale has tunnels itself, and you get a URL that you can use. But ngrok works because it's so easy to set up.
So I've just checked. The folks at Pieces are wrong. It is ngrok.
Ngrok.
It is ngrok. That comes from ngrok.com. It is ngrok. Cool. So yeah, the folks at Pieces are called ngrok. They're wrong. Ngrok. Cool. So what was the other one you said? Toolscale?
Tailscale.
Tailscale.
Yeah.
It's a VPN service, so
yeah. So that's what I'm using personally for access to my devices if I'm traveling and stuff. But it also has tunnels that you can set up. So very similar to ngrok, where you type in a command in your command line saying, I believe it's called tunnel. So like Tailscale tunnel up, and it'll create a publicly accessible tunnel for you that you can paste as a webhook URL in Twilio console. But yeah, for the sake of ease of use, let's stick to ngrok, and because I know it's pretty easy to set up.
Okay, and you can sign up for free as well. So let's just sign up for free. Let's sign up with Google for this one. Pieces. Account. I just I have to do multi-factor auth. 1 second. Lots of signing up today, isn't there?
Yeah.
But I guess that's the fun with all these new services is you have to sign up for them all. So let me just authenticate app. Next. And then token. Where are we? There we go. Okay. How would I describe myself? Tall and handsome. Developer building for fun. Whatever. Development. Cool. And then let's get ngrok installed. Let's get that installing. Okay, so while that's installing, you said we need to do a Flask app. Sorry, just jump on some more questions coming through. Bjorn is saying 40% PHP, 20% JavaScript, 15% TypeScript, 15% Java, 5% C++. That's a very accurate split you've got going on there. Cool. I've never done PHP. You want to jump on a stream with me and teach me PHP, Bjorn? I'm up for that. Let me know. That could be fun. But yeah, as Bjorn says, I can easily read and adapt this. That's one thing I like about Python, actually. If you don't know Python, it's quite easily readable, so anyone can read it. And then, yeah, you can also host your own Pieces OS using both ngrok and Tailscale. So you can have Pieces OS running locally and then host that. So anyone can access your Pieces OS, which could be fun. A public one running a local model on a device or something. That could be
Yeah,
that would kill you.
especially if you have a machine like Shibai where it has 64 gigs of RAM, and you want to, I'm guessing it has a really good CPU and GPU. You can make that power of running local LLMs available to your laptops that are not so powerful.
Nice. I need to actually try it from like an iPad, whether you can connect from an
Yeah.
VS Code and iPad. Can I connect that to someone else's Pieces OS? So yes, remotely connect to Pieces OS. Yeah, Sean is asking, we can self-host Pieces OS. It's like, yep, you can run it locally and then use ngrok, because Pieces OS actually it's running on localhost 1000. Yeah, so you could just host that over ngrok to get a remote URL and then use that from wherever you are. So I need to try that with an iPad. I actually had an idea of trying to get it to run on a Raspberry Pi. So there's a new AI kit for Raspberry Pi. So if I can get Pieces OS running on this and then access it from anywhere. Downside is we don't actually have Linux support for ARM64 yet, just AMD 64, and this is an ARM64 processor. So when that comes, Savo, if you're listening, can I have that, please? When that comes, then I'm going to be running it on this. So
nice.
That could be fun. Cool. Okay, so let's build a Flask app. And I can never remember the basic Flask app. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a new conversation. How do I create a Python Flask app? Because it's like you do it all the time. And then, but I use Flask all the time, but I rarely do I create a new Flask app. So I'm always going back and copying and pasting it. So what I should do, actually, let's go up here. What I should do is has it finished? No. Okay. It's not giving me the option to save the snippet. That's okay. Might be a bug. Maybe it hasn't finished yet. But let's install Flask. And then let's create the basic Flask app with our roots. We can comment that out there. I didn't actually install that. Let's install that. And then it's this bit here I always forget to. Cool. So we've got a Flask app now. So if I run this, that's sitting. If I go here, hello Flask. Okay.
Awesome.
So, Bjorn is thinking about this Pieces OS thing running locally. I think ngrok has started off a load of conversations. Think about setting it up on one of my servers and using it for my devices. They share all the info. Need to figure out how to properly prevent access, maybe your SSH tunnel. Okay. So what Bjorn's getting at here is in Pieces we have things like all the snippets that you have. So all these snippets here, they're connected to this one Pieces OS instance. So all my chats, all my saved materials, that's all here. So when I go into VS Code running locally, I've got access to the same thing. So if I have Pieces OS hosted on a server at home, no matter what machine I'm accessing it from, I'd have access to the same snippets. Yeah. So if I'm sitting around between multiple machines, if I've got like a Mac for development, Windows for development, I could just share one thing. I mean, if running it locally, it's easy enough to do. There is actually, I'll show this. Under settings, we do have a custom URL. So if you've got this running machine at home, you won't even need to put a tunnel in. If it's all on the same local network, just put your network name in here. And then you could share that. So
nice.
Yes. But yes.
Yeah, because I was thinking, they were on the right track with the SSH tunnels because Tailscale does support that. So it can only be accessed, from your Tailscale network. But if it does have a custom URL setting, that works.
Yeah. So just think, if you're all on the same network, you don't even need to worry about to do this. Just put a custom URL on here. But obviously, if you're away from home, then yes, you would use Tailscale or ngrok or whatever, and then just use that to route via Tailscale. Awesome. Bakesh says, hello, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Cool. Right. So we have our Flask app. So you're saying I need a route for handling a message?
Yes. So did we just import Flask on top? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's have something like, I don't know, SMS or receive SMS.
Receive SMS. And that'll be a post, wouldn't it?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And
what comes when we receive the SMS? Is it sent as a form? Is it?
Yes. So let's create a variable called, like, I don't know, inbound message or something. I think inbound message is a good one. And then request.from, and you will have it, in the body. That is correct. Yeah. And we can also change that to lower, just to. Oh, no. So the body was correct. And then at the end, just change it to lower. So period, lower.
To lower.
I believe it's just dot lower. Not two. There we go. Awesome. Great. Now we need to create a function that basically passes this inbound message as, prompt or a query to our copilot chat, I believe would be the next step.
Okay, so I've got a code snippet here for setting that up.
Oh, cool.
So just drop this in here. Now, platform is that one, and then this needs to come from. What do I need to install? I did actually. So I'm going to open up and there's me saving snippets. I'm not saving all my snippets. So this is what I was. I was just trying to get something working with Whisper at one point, actually.
Oh, cool.
So I could try and use voice to kind of talk to it that way. But let's just install the Pieces OS client. And then what I need to do is I need to. That's what I need to do. You know what? What I should do is I should copy this. And then I should go back to my snippet. This one here. If I can go bring it up in Pieces desktop. Go back to my snippet here. I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to update it to actually include the import statements. That'd be more useful for next time. There we go. So let's just drop these import statements in here.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm now connected to Pieces. And then this is how I make the call. It's only a few lines of code, this.
Okay. So the input is where cool. Yeah. Awesome. And the response is what we get from Pieces as the answer.
Yeah. So on the response, we have. Did I close that window? I closed that window, didn't I? That was foolish. The response that comes back actually has a number of answers, so we just need that part of it. So we just need that. And then we can just send it, can't we? We can just use the same message code. That should be message text.
And we can use that in the body. Okay.
Okay. Is it really as easy as this?
It is, but we'll have to get rid of the two, because that is like it'll. If I send a message from my text, I'll end up still going to the hard coded number we have in there, which is the demo number. So what we can do is use Twiml. So if you don't know what Twiml is, it's a form of XML language.
Okay.
I'll quickly send it to you over StreamYard.
Cool. While he's sending that, Chris is saying that she just followed you. So it's so much easier. There's a web version of the desktop app. There will be one. So all these things are coming. All these things are coming. Cool. Okay. So this is the link.
I think I sent you the programmable voice one, but you'll get the idea of what Twiml is. It is kind of like a markup language that we use here at Twilio, but it simplifies a lot of the ways that you can interact with our libraries. So something like, bracket would say the recording that you want to, or say the text that you want to say over voice call, or send it as MMS. So it makes our lives very easy in compared to if we just use the REST client. So
nice. This is kind of similar to, there's like SAML or something, which is the speech markup language. Same idea, because that you can use to say, I want to say this word, but I want to use this voice and put inflection on these things. So rather than it being hello world, you can have hello world, or you can put those inflections on words using XML. Similar kind of idea, I guess.
Pretty much, yes. And then what we can do is create our instance of messaging response once we have imported it from the top. And then we can use that instance of messaging response to send back the answer we got from pieces.
Okay, so that will actually go back to the kind of that in the Twiml will actually say basically reply to this number rather than
exactly.
Okay, so we need this Twilio.twiml and its message response. So let's drop that in here. Twilio.twiml. Import messaging response. That's the one we need.
And if we go to our function, so now what we can do is create the messaging response instance. And then we can have a new dot message, I believe. Yes, there we go. And this will have the text of the copilot that we are building.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we can do response.body. There we go. This should work. We'll figure it out. So this should send back the copilot response, or the pieces response, back to the number that
there's no body on
we received a text from.
I'm looking at response. I'm not seeing body. Let
me check if we did something wrong. So response is equal to messaging response. Let's open up documentation. Twiml for SMS. Sorry, I sent you the wrong link to the docs. Here's the SMS one.
Here we go. To from status callback action and method. That's the verbs. Scroll around looking for pipe, for example. Here we go. There we go. That's the code you sent me. So that's message response.
And
here we go.
let's see.
So in
now,
this,
if you try message.body, maybe
message dot.
no.
I'm not seeing there, but what I did see in this message, body is a thing here. Body is a parameter. So would this be the body of the message, or was this the body of the form that comes in?
No, it should be the body of the message that you're sending. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and then we can specify the from.
Yeah.
That's our phone number.
And that should be it.
And then it's the 2. So what do we put in the 2?
Is 2 still, or is it showing as a required parameter? Yes.
Copilot
so it's the response.
Copilot is suggesting that. I don't think it's required. No, none of them are required. But that's it. Do we want to do that? Do we want to read it from the request form that comes in, or does it happen automatically?
It should. So with the messaging response, it should happen automatically. But we can try that. So
in theory, then we can just get rid of this, can't we? Just have that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, since we'll be using webhooks, so it is already aware of the Twilio number we will be using.
Okay. And then is that we do we just send it, or just having that response.message?
I think it should work. It's been a while. I've used this fast or Flask iteration, but yeah, I think it should work. Response.append. Because it's sending a message body and a media.
Yeah, here we go. So the code here is just using response.message.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly what we are using, right?
Okay. So should we give it? Yes. Should we give it a go?
Yeah.
So this is running. So now we set up ngrok, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to ngrok, got this installed. Copy this. I think I've just exposed my my API token to the world. I need to change that one in a minute then. And then we can just run this. Are we running on 8080? What? Oh. 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
Yeah, localhost 5,000.
Okay.
So that's on. And then this is our port forwarding. So if I go to just here, bring up this one.
Okay, cool.
Woohoo, it works. It works.
So let's go to our Twilio console. Let's go to your number. So under phone numbers on the left-hand side, let's click on manage. And then active numbers. Okay, let's open that up. The 855, yeah. Okay. Let's see the SMS settings. So it should be, if you scroll down.
Oh, there we go. Message configuration. There we go.
Yes. So instead of the demo URL, let's put in our Flask app. And I believe the endpoint was receive SMS? Receive
SMS. There we go.
And yeah, I think that's about it. Let's save the configuration.
Okay. And then what I might do is I'm going to add some logging in here.
Yeah.
Let's print the request.form. And then print message.text. There we go. And then should we return this response message?
Sure.
Is that what I should be returning?
Yeah. So you could return it as a string, I believe. So if you do return, yeah, so it's a string already. So cool.
Cool. Okay, so that's going to return the Twilio ML, so it's Twilio knows to do stuff with it, because I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. TTTT says, "Hola, my friends. Hello. Great to have you with us. Awesome. Should we give this a go? I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's saved. So in theory, then, if I get my phone and if I go into text messages and then I write a message to 855-961-5058, and then what is the capital of Spain? Ask a random question. Send that. That should then hit that URL. I go back to here. It worked because it blew up.
Invalid syntax.
Yeah, I think it's because I was typing things here and it caused it to crash. Okay, so maybe it didn't work. Maybe it didn't work. Let's just try sending. Okay. We're getting somewhere. I've just sent a message saying hello.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've got. That's what came through. Body, hello.
Yep.
Who? That worked. And then we got a response from
the pieces. Yeah.
Pieces.
Yeah.
So then something blew up. The view function didn't return a valid response. The return must be a string, dict, list. Okay, so I returned a message that was wrong. So
let's figure it out.
Do I actually need to return the message? Is that how it works?
So usually I just return the string. So like I would do return string, and then within that string I have the messaging response. So let's see. So if you could do, or maybe do just the resp instead of message.
Just resp like that.
Let's see if that did it restart. Okay, cool.
So just send hello again. I did not get a message back on my phone though.
So you didn't get the hello, how I can assist you today?
No, I did not get that coming through.
Response.message. Response.message. I
mean, do I need to set the from and to?
No. It is not required. Okay, yeah. Let's get rid of the message variable and just do response.message. Oh no. So if you just delete message is equal to, and let's try that. And body is equal to message text. Let's also get rid of the body. So just have the message text as the argument in there.
So it's that, yeah?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Because response.message is, it should be like the message itself. So maybe we don't need to specify the body.
Same again. I sent the message. You see it's gone through. Hello there. But nothing's come back.
Okay. So I believe everything is working on the Flask and this let's see if Twilio is doing something. So if you go to the console and check our logs, so if you go to your number, if you scroll up,
Yeah. Message
and
log.
if you go to message logs, yes. Okay. It says undelivered. So if you open that up, so if you click on view all my logs, I think it should do that.
This
Okay,
one here.
yes.
So try to send it, but it fails to deliver. Toll-free verification required.
Yes. So it gave you a toll-free number for the
Yeah. You mentioned this before,
for
weren't
the
you?
demo. Yes. So if anyone's interested, if you're specifically in US, you can look up, if you're using 10DLC number, which is the usual number, you have, so like my number is a 10DLC, Jim's personal number is a 10DLC. And if you're using that to send out SMS, which is called A2P, because we're using application to person, since there has been a lot of spamming, there are some regulations that were put into place, and you do need an A2P 10DLC registration. Or if you're using a toll-free number, you still require a toll-free verification in order to send that SMS to a person's number. So either we can send in a toll-free verification, but that's going to take some time to get verified. Or what I can do is, if you give me the webhook URL, I can post it on my number and see if it works.
Okay, let's try that then. Because let's grab it from in here. Make sure we got the right one. It was phone numbers. There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna log in.
Okay, I'm just going to drop this in there. There we go. XL Fun is saying we're doing a tremendous job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really kind of you to say that. Okay, yeah. So this is. So the idea of this is, if anyone's watched this going, oh, I can spam people using Twilio. I can spend my $15 of free credit just absolutely spamming you with whatever. You can't. This blocks the numbers coming through. It'd be nice if you could actually register one number with it. At least, I've verified my phone number with Twilio. It'd be nice if that number would always work for me. Because without, just as for testing purposes, it'd be nice if that did always work. But
that is a good feedback. Yeah.
Because I verified my number. That's my number. That I'd always assume that would work because what is this verification process?
It is for toll-free. It's different to A2P. So since toll-free is usually used by businesses, you have to provide the legal entity name and all the things you're seeing. And there's also another form after this that you need to submit. But for A2P, I can send you a link while we are waiting for me to configure this. And you can look into that if people are not aware about that compliance.
Okay, let's have a look at that one. Okay, so A to P, 10 DLC. Gotta love these acronyms. Application to person, 10-digit long code. Okay. I mean, obviously this doesn't work very well because I get spam messages every day, but it's could be a lot worse, I guess.
Okay. So I have this set up. I have a number for you that you can text to.
Okay. Let's try this. Right. Okay. So let's try this number. Okay. Okay, I sent it through. And
I heard a ding.
A ding. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I got a response. I got hello. How can I assist you? Just confused me a
Awesome.
bit because I sent it without the +1. I got a response with a +1.
+1.
So why is it a different chat? So okay. So what I'm going to do is Vakesh has asked a question. Can you explain more about Twilio functions? So what I'm going to do is, can you explain Twilio?
Oh, that's nice.
I'm going to ask the copilot. And this is going to be interesting because it can be a long response. So I wonder how this is going to work over, because obviously SMS is limited in how many characters, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I think
because here's the answer here. And it came through. It came through. It worked. It works. I'm going to just try and cover the number a bit and hold it up. It's not going to focus on that, but it came through with a whole load of text there. So Twilio functions are serverless functions that allow you to run Node.js code in the cloud without having to manage servers. They're designed to help you build and deploy custom communication applications quickly and easily. With Twilio functions, you can write code that responds to incoming HTTP requests, such as handling incoming SMS messages, making outbound calls, or interacting with other APIs. And there's a whole lot of examples in here. And then it mentions you can deploy Twilio functions directly from the Twilio console and easily integrate into Twilio phone numbers and messaging services. Twilio functions are a convenient way to add custom logic to Twilio applications without the need to manage infrastructure. So essentially what they're saying, if I'm right, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, this code we've written here in this webhook, if we wrote this in JavaScript,
yes,
we could deploy this to a Twilio function.
Yes, that is correct.
And then that would be called by the text message. Rather than us having to build and host the webhook ourselves, that webhook, as it were, would call into Twilio function. So this code goes to the Twilio function. Obviously, we then have to tunnel through to Pieces OS in this exact example. But essentially, yes, this code would be hosted by Twilio rather than us. That's a Twilio function.
That is correct. And hence, that is why we asked that question, I believe, when you were trying to sign up for like the account. Do you want to host your own code, or do you want Twilio to host your code? So it is like functions as service. Vakesh, if you're familiar with Azure Functions or AWS Lambda, GCP has Cloud Functions. So it's very similar to that. And you can also integrate external APIs. So anything you believe can be done programmatically, and you want it to have like a webhook, which is needed for like a two-way conversation in our example, you can have that functionality with functions. But the only caveat is it's just Node. So like you can only write JavaScript. So we can't take our Python code that we have today and just port it to like Twilio functions. We'll have to convert it to Node first.
Okay, but if you did want to use Python, then you could host it with, as you say, Azure Functions, AWS Lambda, same kind of idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do have a blog post of how you can integrate Azure Functions with Twilio and have an API.
Okay, do you want to drop a link to that in the chat, actually? In
Sure,
case anyone's interested, that'd be good. I guess while you're dropping that in as well, another question is, can I use Twilio functions to integrate with external APIs? And I guess the answer would be yes, wouldn't it?
Yes.
There's nothing to stop you calling external APIs, because that would be quite a standard thing, wouldn't it? I'm sending a text message in to do something that needs to integrate with whatever. If you've got a support app, for example, where someone's messaging you, you want to handle those messages, work out where it's got to route to, and then route that to external systems. So yes, you can do that. Obviously in JavaScript. So nice. So this is like a nice, easy way to do this. So yeah, if you can grab that link for Azure Functions, that would be really cool.
I just realized that I use Node.js in that too, but I do have a GitHub repo that I can send.
Cool.
But it should be pretty easy to just use Python instead of Node with Azure Functions. There's Azure Functions is very well documented. Let me find that GitHub repo for you.
Just drop that in the public chat. There we go. Nice. So nice, good guide here. Oh, I haven't done Azure Functions for a while. I used to work for Microsoft. I used to do Azure Functions all the time. But yeah. One thing I love about Azure Functions is you can run it locally. So they have these Azure Functions core tools. So you can spin up an Azure Functions instance locally that just works as if it's Azure Functions. It can, obviously webhooks you need to use ngrok for that, but it can connect to all your other services. So if you wanted a thing where when you put an entry in a database, it fires a trigger that sends an SMS message, you can build that locally, test that locally, connect it to your database running in the cloud, and that trigger will still happen. So it's full local environment for debugging, which is really, really cool.
I love that. Yeah. That's like the first thing that helps me choose which function as service I want to use, and that's always Azure Functions. It's because you have the ability to test it locally, and it's like there are things with like AWS Lambda, but they are not from the provider itself, and there are a lot of wrappers around it, so it's not the same feel of how it'll be in the cloud. Whereas with the Azure Functions core tools, it's like exactly the same. You're using the same file structure. Yeah,
it is the same code base. Literally, the Azure Functions core tools is the same code they use in the cloud.
Yeah, and it also makes it so easy to publish it. So like if you want to deploy it after testing, there are function publish commands that you can. So it's like literally one command, and it publishes it to the cloud, which is awesome.
Yeah, they definitely did this very, very well. I'll say that. Now, we said a GitHub repo for this. Let's see. Is that linked in here?
It should be. If not, I can send it to you. There we go. So the Python iteration of this is coming soon. So yeah, if you are really looking forward to that, yeah, follow me on socials and stuff. You'll see a Python version of this.
There we go. So yeah, cool. Mukesh says, thanks. You're more than welcome. We're here to help and answer your questions. Bjorn saying, looks awesome. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay, so I think we've done this. This is actually so, I don't want to say simple, because it's simple because I have an expert here with me helping me with this, but it's not that much code. I mean, literally, I'm gonna just save this to pieces. But yeah, we've built an SMS copilot, and all in, I mean, let's get rid of some of the comments we don't need, just so we can count the lines of code. All in, we've got 59 lines in this file, and it's Python, so there's lots of white space in here and a few comments.
Yeah.
59 lines of code, and we can receive a text message, send it to the LLM of our choice, because I'm in pieces. At the moment, I'm using I'm using GPT-4o, and then get a response back from that. And in fact, you know what? Let's just for funsies, let's do this locally. Let's activate Mistral.
Nice.
So I've got a local LLM. So the only cloud thing really is Twilio. There's nothing else happening there. And then I can do the same kind of thing. I can go back to the same text message and ask, how much memory does Mistral 7 billion parameters use when running locally? Let's see if we can answer that question. There it is, come through. Now it's going to be a bit slower, obviously, because it's running locally. But yeah, memory use for program like Mistral, there's the answer there. I'm just waiting for it to come through. And it's come through. It's now appeared. So from my phone, it says the memory use of a program like Mistral 7B can vary depending on specific configuration. Okay. So this is not a useful answer. It's just saying this is how you check how much memory.
Yeah. It gives you like a snippet of Python, I believe. Yeah.
So yeah, it's mentioned use task manager, activity manager, and it's given some Python code to look at how much memory the process uses. So it doesn't really understand the concept of Mistral as an LLM, but it's given me a good detailed answer. So all the stuff here. So yeah, that's working locally. So I mean, how much? Let's see how much memory I'm using. So okay, it's using a bit more, 2.28 gigs. That will obviously spike when
it's computing
I make a
stuff.
request, but it's still not much. So cool. So there we go. We've
That's
just
awesome.
A copilot using LLM running locally. We're just using Twilio for SMS. It's the only cloud connection I've got. And Sean's saying, should we measure the units of Chevet RAM? So we shouldn't be doing this 1024 by 1024 to measure. It should be 64 gigabytes divided by whatever you got here. Chevet RAM sounds good. Cool. No, I think that's a stream. I think that's a good place to wrap up. That's been a very, very successful stream. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. Thank you so much for teaching me. I've really enjoyed this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any last thoughts before we drop off? And I guess any last questions in the chat, really?
I think I'll continue my setup for pieces because I definitely didn't know you could have snippets. So if you copy and have browser extensions, it saves it with all of the relevant tags and context, which is awesome because using things like Notion and Obsidian, as great as they are, I have to add that context myself. If I copy some code, I'm like, oh, this is what I was researching, and this is the browser tab and stuff. But that looked awesome. So I'm really excited to try that out. I have pieces installed already. I just have to go through the prompts to set it up. And this was really fun. But maybe we'll do another one. I really enjoyed this. And maybe we should do like LangChain X pieces and we combine them together.
Yes. I think we should. So about the snippets thing, I will just give you a demo of one other feature we have.
Sure.
So we have a thing called the Workstream Pattern Engine, and essentially this kind of watches what you do on all your active windows, and then anything that's relevant to development, it will store that and use that in the LLM. It's not capturing your passwords. We've got all the stuff to remove all private information, but it means if you're having conversations in different tools, you can actually ask the LLM about those conversations. So what I mean by that is if I go to Copilot chat, so let's just zip back to GPT-4 because it's quicker, make sure that's active, done. What I can do, I can do a new chat, turn on live context, and then I can say, what did Sean Tiz just ask in Edge? Make sure I've got that. So what it's going to do, because it's watching what I'm doing, it's gathering information, and Sean Tiz just asked this question here. And if I do that, it says he did not ask a question, but he made a comment at 10:27 a.m., which is what we're seeing, saying, nice one, thanks to both the inspiration. Have a good evening, everyone. Now, so imagine this, you're zipping around in different conversations. So we're having a chat about something, and then you send me to the docs. I go and read the docs, I look at the documentation about something, and then I come back and go, what can I have an overview of this? It can do that. Really great. Like you're deep in work, you go off and have a meeting, you come back, what was I just doing? And it can kind of do that summary of what you're doing. So it's very, Very cool. It does it by
That is
capturing
really
the screen.
cool.
We capture your screen, do OCR over it, work out what's relevant. We don't capture everything. If we tell you on like a banking app, but we just ignore that. We make sure we try and hide API keys and all other kind of secrets. We've got a really good engine we've built for hiding all the private information. But otherwise, yes, it does. You turn this on, and then you say in the chat, when you do a new chat, I want live context.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will then use that as the context for your chat. So it's really, really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One example. It looked really cool.
What a good example is actually. So Savo, our CEO, he wrote a YouTube description for something, and then YouTube crashed and he lost the description. So he went into pieces and said, what was the last description used in YouTube? And bang, there it was.
Nice.
So well worth
I'll be checking it out.
Yeah. Check it out. Pieces is awesome. Bjorn says, thanks. The stream was enjoyable. Yep. Glad you enjoyed it. Maybe one day I'll get you on a stream teaching me PHP. That could be fun. But yeah, we'll do another one with LangChain. I'd really like that. This was fun.
Sounds
so let's
good.
do another one with LangChain. But otherwise, thank you everyone for watching. I'm probably gonna be back next week. My last few streams were Thursdays. I did this one on a Monday because I'm gonna be at KCDC Thursday, Friday. Probably do one Monday or Tuesday next week because I'm on vacation. And then I'll be dropping. I won't be streaming for a few weeks because I'll be out on vacation for a few weeks. But then I'll be back end of July for more streams. But thank you all for joining. Hope you had a good time. Gervais enjoys geeking out with Rishab and boasting about his 64 gigabytes of RAM. Everything's going to be in Gervais RAM from now on. But otherwise, thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day. See you all later.